Hello, dangerous Dino Gorgons. We've had a week off. We're back at the Apex again. We have a lot of fights once upon a time, and then we had like five of them canceled. We still have a lot of exciting implications all over this baby, and we're going to give it a rundown, give it a dynamic breakdown for the dangerous Dino Gorgons. All of you. If you recognize that hand, five fingers. This is a mammalian ancestor, if you don't know. So, you in a way, this is you. Even though it's the apex and there are several cancellations, and both of those are bad news, the good news is we have a lot of skilled people on this card, a lot of people who we know already, and a lot of people who we're still getting to know. Should be exciting as it always is. The fights will speak for themselves. So let's give it a dynamic breakdown, see what everybody's been up to. It's allergy season, so I hope you all are doing well with that. I am not. Okay, I just bought a box of Zyrtec with 90 tablets to let you know where I am. There are two fights on this card that are so important for the women's flyweight division with our main event and the women's bantamweight division hidden in there. So let's talk about that. Give it a little rundown with our agenda. As mentioned, we are at the Yuck Yuck Apex. No. We have a battle for the women's flyweight top 5. This is such an important matchup because it really is a chance at the belt next, in my opinion, specifically if Erin wins. Yes, there is not just a battle for the women's top 5 in the flyweight division, but the women's bantamweight division as well, which could potentially also lead to a chance at the belt next for whoever is the winner of that. I think that depends. Also, Gamrot is kind of on the chopping block. Number 7, yet going against an unranked opponent after such a big hiatus too, not on his own doing. Yikes! Despite the cancellations, we've held on to a lot of the really crucial fights, the ones that have a lot of implications for their respective divisions, and hopefully those fights that were cut will be rescheduled in the near future. Up first, we have our prelims. To open things up, we have a women's strawweight bout, Ariel versus Gamer Girl. Rayan Santos is a BJJ black belt that definitely gets a lot of her wins via the submission fashion, searching for the arm specifically. She's coming off of a split decision loss to Pooja Tomorrow, which was about a year ago, so bit of a layoff, a little bit of activity. Okay, previous loss was also split, but about that activity, she had a broken arm, lots of injury to recover from, so hoping to be healed. This is her third UFC appearance, and when you watch her, you'll see, yes, she has a very aggressive style of fighting, looking to take advantage of the forward pressure and try to hunt you down, push you over, and get the submission. She'll be going against Alice Ardelean, who is a gamer, and she is a former RXF and EFC champion who was inspired to do MMA from Gina Carano. Who is inspired by Gina? Love her. Alice has never been knocked out and proved to be durable in both of her UFC appearances, though they ended in a loss. Both were by decision, and most of her losses occurred that way as well. Not a lot of submission losses happening. And she comes from a supportive but not sporty family, so she's kind of the black sheep in a sense with her career path. Not exactly. Coming from a family of athletes, as many people who make it to this level of MMA are. So that's actually pretty cool. She found her own thing, and she has a physical education degree, and she is pretty funny, and she does a lot of skits and funniness on TikTok, and actually has a pretty huge following. So check her out. We're starting off the night with two ladies who are both pretty green in the UFC. It's their third appearance, and both of them looking to get back in the win column. Then we make our way to the lightweight division with Modest versus the Zulu Warrior. Balaji Oki, the Zulu Warrior, is a knockout artist. So he's a knockout artist that has never been knocked out himself, looking to get the win that way. He's a two-time lightweight atomic champion and is currently coming off of a Gilly choke win, over Chris Duncan. So he has that in his arsenal as well, always growing, but definitely prefers to put people up against the fence, attack that body, and get the knockout. He's 1-1 in the UFC so far, so we're making our way. And he has some fun, humble beginnings working at Domino's Pizza. I just think that's a great start. You dream about fighting one day as you're throwing those pizzas in the oven, and look, he's here. Humble beginnings, and he's very humble still. He brings a lot of really great energy, a very reflective person in there, someone who's just excited to fight. And he is going against Markel Mederos, who is a Fury FC former Dana White's Contender Series, and he recently has made his way to the UFC in 2024, and he really wants to fight Jared Gordon, so that's who he has his eyes on next, and is riding a very powerful 8-fight win streak. So like his opponent, he's very striky, not exactly getting a lot of wins in the subland. He actually has neither a win nor a loss, so he's submission averse in all categories. He's not living in the sub world. He's got an anti-magnet for that. His most recent win over Austin Hubbard was via split decision, barely a month ago, and he's happy to get a quick turnaround, looking to stay pretty active. He's really concentrated on making a statement, trying to get a more definitive win. Obviously, anything is more definitive than a split decision. Perhaps a finish. He's looking to stay active, but he's not exactly a traveler. He doesn't want to be flying all over the world, so he's hoping to keep it local, so the Apex is good for him. The Apex is good, it's nearby, and when he's not fighting, he loves chilling, playing chess, and reading. And funny story about him is he's my birthday buddy. So different year, he's older than me, but we were born on the same day. This should be very explosive, very athletic, probably all on the feet, some back against the fence type moments, both men looking to make a statement. I think, Markel is going to be looking for the finish for sure, coming off of the split. I just think this one is going to be very exciting. I have high hopes for this fight. Then we got a real quirky matchup between the Gorilla King and the Hurt. Jordan, the Gorilla King, what a quirky McQuirkster. If you know this guy, you know he's quirky and fun. LFA, Dana White's Contender Series, made his way to the UFC in 2020. He actually saw The Ultimate Fighter on TV, and that's what made him want to do the UFC. And so, didn't make it onto Tough, but pretty close with Dana White's Contender Series. He is a subby lemur. Always looking for the sub and looking to be creative with it. So he has some interesting submissions in there. He's very quirky. And 2/3 of his losses, though, in the UFC are via rear naked choke. So maybe a little rear naked choke susceptible, but he's never been knocked out. So very durable. And he's always twerking for the haters, you know how it is. And he's always looking for the bright side of life. He's going against Kurt the Hurt Holobaugh, who we just saw recently. And, speaking of tough, he's actually a tough winner. So, in a sense, it's all coming to fruition. He's 2-6 in the UFC. We can fix it. We can up that up. He's an absolute veteran, right? Strikeforce. He had to claw his way back, though. Okay, so after, how the UFC is, you have a couple blips in the road. They'll just toss you outside, but he's made his way back. Here he is. He's a Louisiana man, a definite Southern belle. Him and his wife, just so adorable. He's currently coming off of a decision loss, if you recall, to Alexander Hernandez a couple months ago. It was pretty good, though. I'd say he was definitely looking to make it a brawl, and Alex was looking to hold on to him, and it worked. And because Kurt is often looking to make it a brawl, I mean, he has a BJJ black belt, but I think he a lot of times prefers to just make it a dirty striking match. He's, keeping it often in his back pocket. If you can close the distance with him, sometimes they can neutralize. He says that he likes the Apex, and I don't believe him. This is going to be, I think, a very strange fight, very fun, two oddballs, but in very different ways. They're very different people, both generationally, but just the type of quirks that they bring to the table. I think it's going to be really fun. I also have high hopes for this one. I think there's going to be a lot of weird moments, though. Maybe some weird moments on the ground. Okay, we'll see. Both men looking to get back in the win column, but only one of them is looking to twerk on the haters. Next, because we have so many cancellations, dropped another fight, we are on to a women's bantamweight matchup. A very high stakes women's bantamweight matchup between Fenomeno and Chasen. Ketlin Vieira, Fenomeno, the phenomenon, is number 3 right now in the women's bantamweight division, formerly Mr. Cage, and has been here in the UFC for a while, since 2016. 8-4, faced a lot of greats. She has a black belt in judo and BJJ, and she is very, very good standing and on the ground and getting takedowns. She has never been subbed herself. Very, very get out of here with that. But she is often subbing, often getting people into some yucky, yucky places they never want to be. She is somebody who actually always dreamed of being a fighter ever since she was a kid. We have a lot of people who have always dreamed of being fighters in the sport, but on this card in general. She's coming off of a decision loss to Kayla Harrison, which, a lot of people consider Kayla Harrison to be the best in the division right now, some people would say. Lots to prove there, but there was a lot of hype on Kayla Harrison, so riding it out to a decision, not exactly a bad look. And she gets a lot of her wins from decisions, so she can definitely put on the pace to the end. She's willing to get really gritty with it. That's what we love about Kedlin, is she can take damage, and she causes it more so. She has pieced up a lot of her opponents, like looking real battered afterwards. She is very powerful. And she'll be going against Macy Chauson, ranked number 5. Macy was the Tough 28 champion, and she actually joined Tough with hardly any experience at all. She was only 2-0 as a professional, kind of a risky move, really took a chance on herself, had to fight off a lot of imposter syndrome on the way, but she made it, okay, all the way through. That's incredible. And she has been in the UFC since 2018, a very strong 8-3 record. She wins every way. We can call her Macy Chauson. Chasen? People say her name differently. Anyway, Macy is chasing. And by chasing, I mean chasing every option, chasing all the ways to improve herself. She really is a martial artist at heart, okay? And it shows up in the ways that she's able to get the win, right? So pretty evenly split between decision, knockout, submission, because she's always looking to evolve. She's always trying to enact a game plan in there. I mean, sometimes it goes out the window. Life happens, but she really studies her opponents, is a real analyst in the game, coming off of a doctor stoppage win over Mayra Bueno Silva. So, wish we could have seen more of that fight, but that's a really strong win. And that's why I think that if she gets this win, she is definitely in contention for a fight for the belt. I really think so. She really is a performance of the night type. Last 2 fights, performance of the night award. Inactive during 2023, but took that time to really recover. She is just so fun. She can be sassy, always respectful. Another Southern belle, all right? And she is, she has it all. She has a bachelor's in bio and engineering as well. Okay, and congrats on the baby on the way. Amazing. She has a lot going for herself, and she is really a representative of the future of the women's bantamweight division. Her and Kedlin both are just such complete athletes. This fight is guaranteed to be fireworks. Depending on the outcome, somebody could get a chance at the belt here. And by somebody, I mean Macy. Kedlin just fought Kayla, so if she wins, she's definitely not going to get a chance at the belt. But I also don't think that if Juliana wins, she necessarily will either. I think that there's a really strong case for Macy to get a shot at the belt, though, if she wins this fight. And, according to her own words, she will be looking for the submission. Shout out to Carlo Perusa for his interview with Macy. That's how we got that word, that she will be looking for the submission in this fight. That is a pretty lofty goal against Ketlen Vieira, who has never been submitted. Okay. But, what isn't fighting if not believing in yourself entirely? So love to see it. I think no matter what, this is going to be a brawl. This is going to be violent. This is going to be technical. It's going to have everything. This fight is going to have everything. I strongly believe it's going to deliver, and the implications are so insane. Next, we have a men's flyweight bout between Pastor and Puro Osso. Rafael Filho, Pastor, a Chuto Brazil champ, Dana White's Contender Series to the UFC, so far 2-1, never been knocked out. He's on a 2-fight win streak, so it's been looking good. He primarily likes to get the win via submission, and specifically, he's a choker. Yes, 60% of his wins are by submission. And a little bit about his MMA journey is he was inspired by fighting movies, all the fun, all the crazy ones. That's what made him want to get in there. And he'll be going against Alan Nascimento, Pure Oso, risen to the Dana White's Contender Series, UFC 2021, and they have the exact same record right now. But we have not seen him since 2023. 4 canceled bouts in a row. Oh my gosh. So really hoping that this one doesn't get canceled as well. Question mark. I don't really know. There's a question mark because I don't really know the story there. I don't know why. Okay. He is also a subist. 75% of his wins are found that way, and he has never been finished as well. Both of these guys are coming in with a win streak, but both of them coming with a bit of a layoff. I mean, we haven't seen Allen since 2023. Where has he been? So this one will be curious. This one will be, hopefully, an explosive re-entry. Hopefully they've been hungry as they've been waiting on the sidelines. So we've made it to our main card, which appears to have just 4 fights now. Up first, middleweights, Savage versus Thunder. Zach, Savage, Reese, Fury FC to Peak Fighting, and then Dana White's Contender Series, UFC 2023. So far, he is 2-2. So looking to get some steam. He is definitely a finisher. 5/8 of this man's wins are from finishes in the TKO KO fashion, and uniquely enough, his 2 losses are also from that fashion, coming off of a ground and pound loss, most recently to Azamat Bekov, who has been looking very good lately. So, there's a chance to really pick up some steam, get back in there, improve. And he'll be going against Dusko Todorovic, Thunder, who you probably know, Dana White's Contender Series in 2019, and he has been in the UFC since 2020. It hasn't been a perfect road, okay? We're 3-5. It hasn't been great, and his last win was in 2022. Oh, so really looking to get back in that win column. He's still a young man. There's still a chance. He's got that Taekwondo foundation. Yeah, we had a canceled bout as well. So not only has this card is full of canceled bout, these fighters are full of the canceled bout curse. Yeah. So last win, as mentioned, performance of the night, 2022. We got to say, cute dog. Lovely. He loves his dog. It's adorable. But also happy belated birthday. May 19th. Another year around the sun. I think this fight is really important because it might be Dusko's last shot. I mean, hasn't had a win since 2022. So this is really important. So we're looking for a statement. Next, we have a light heavyweight fight. The Hanyak versus Brunel. Dustin Jacoby. The Jacobster. Okay. He is a veteran, or veterna, I guess. That's a new word. He is a veteran. WSOF to Bellator. Had to claw and scratch his way back to the UFC. You know how it is. Through the Dana White's Contender Series, he made his return. 8-6 in total in the UFC. So, it's been up, it's been down. He is a finisher. He's looking to keep it on the feet. Currently, coming off of a TKO win, and his cross is powerful, all right? He's looking to keep it standing, and he's looking to get the win with those hands specifically. Maybe throwing a little kick here and there just for good measure, but ultimately wants to keep it in the hands. And, when he's not fighting, he's golfing. He's staying centered. He's golfing it out. He'll be going against Bruno Lopez, a bit of a cowboy. That's what he does in his spare time. And former LFA champ, also Dana White's Contender Series. This is only his second UFC appearance. Very, very strong 14-1 record. Okay, he's on a 3-fight win streak. So far undefeated in the UFC. He is both a BJJ and Muay Thai black belt. So he's very deadly. The arm triangle is a classic submission win for him, but he's very punchy, okay? So not super leggy, very punchy. He is actually a horse farrier. So if you don't know what that is, I didn't until I looked it up. That's somebody who makes the shoes for the horses. Very cool. He's a very free-spirited guy, and he's very free-spirited in there, just looking to be himself. This one has blood, violence, and physical trauma written all over it. And I'm very excited. I think that this one's going to be a lot of fun. This one's going to be a lot of fun. I imagine it will be standing for the most part. Maybe Bruno will, get a little sneaky. This one will be exciting though. I'm almost sure. Somehow we have already made it to the co-main event. Not a lot of fights on this card. Gamer versus Mr. Highlight. Matus Gamrot, Gamrot, he is on the chopping block right now. Number 7, going against an unranked. I think that this is a weird fight for him, but you know what? This is the thing. He's been calling for a fight for so long, he had to take what they're going to give him. All right? KSW 2 division champ. So 2013 all the way through 2020, he was just ruling it over there. 13-0, absolutely. Just so dominant. So he made his way to the UFC in 2020 and has been looking really strong here as well with a 7-3 record. He has never been finished and he has a lot of bouts. Okay, so the durability has been tested on this man. He is 5-round possible. Okay, he can pick up the pace and keep it there for 5 rounds. But he's coming off of a fight of the night split loss to Dan Hooker. Okay, even though it was fight of the night, somehow that's gotten us here. Okay, somehow fight of the night, losing a split decision fight of the night performance gets you to be booked against someone who is unranked. I think that is very strange. He has that dog in him. Okay, as people say, he's willing to get testy. Okay, if you've ever seen him, he's willing to get testy. He's willing to, row the brave waters and risk drowning. It's amazing. We love it. We love that bravery. He's been asking for a fight for a while. Okay, but no answer. But now we have our answers, so he's not going to say no. He's been sparring with Dustin Poirier. That's great. We love to see that. That's a great collab. And he's a little homesick, okay? He's been away from his family for about 2 months now. So we're looking to get that win. Looking to take some time to go home, hang out with the kiddos, hang out with the wife. And fun thing, okay, as a Polish person, Joanna Jędrzejczyk is his hero because, she's been a real pioneer for MMA in general, but especially for the Polish fighters, for the Polish power. Shout out Polish power. He'll be going against Ludovic Klein, Mr. Highlight. Okay, that's why we got a Mr. Highlighter there in the corner. He's actually the first Slovak fighter signed to the UFC in 2020. And he made his UFC debut as a replacement, so I believe it was a catchweight fight. He took the call and he said, "Why? How could I not?" He secretly started boxing at the age of 12, before he was allowed to from his parents. He said, I'm going to an after-school program. Yeah. And to this day, boxing serves as his foundation, a very strong foundation as well. Definitely someone who likes to keep it in the feet, and his boxing is where he really shines. He shines like a star. He's on a 6-fight win streak right now, but he wins in all the ways, okay? He's an athlete. He's an athlete, looks like an athlete, performs like an athlete. Jimmy, what do you think? He has a very strong boxing foundation, but he's also very kicky. Usually low, but sometimes high. The dominant win over Bahamondes really demonstrated Ludovic's boxing ability, that he can deal with that length. It was really impressive. He really showcased his skills in that fight. He's really big into stretching, so, athlete all around. He's getting his stretches in, making sure that he's healing and recovering. Congratulations to him and his wife on their new baby. His wife is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Their family just so gorgeous. Congrats. This is such a massive opportunity for Ludovic, who is not even ranked. This is kind of a strange matchup, if you ask me, with Matus kind of on the chopping block, his number 7 ranking being offered up to an unranked contender. So what happens, right? Because the rankings are a mess, of course, but what happens? Both guys are just super technical, super durable. This one is going to be a war, almost guaranteed. Then we have our main event with massive implications. Cold-blooded versus the future, a women's flyweight. Erin Cold-blooded Blanchfield made a name for herself as an Invicta star, coming to the UFC in 2021. Basically a young veteran. She has a lot of fights against a lot of big names already at the young age of 26 and has been all around. And she's made her way to number 4, clawing to the top. She is the first female and youngest Eddie Bravo Invitational Flyweight champ. So again, just a young veteran making her way. Fashion girly, just got to say, she's got some really great fashion. She is all about that cardio, all about that durability. She has never been finished. She's got 5-round knowledge. She's really proved to be a 5-round fighter. She has it all. She is not going to give up. She says that herself, but she really shows it. She does not give up on herself. And the idea of giving up on herself is just, it's not fathomable. half of her decision losses are splitty. Okay, so she's only lost twice, and one of them is via split decision. Erin Blanchfield, she truly has it all. She is coming off of a massive decision win against Namajunas back in November. I mean, that is just so impressive. Rose Namajunas, arguably maybe not the same fighter that she was a couple years ago, but regardless, that is such a significant win. Erin is a BJJ black belt, you know it, with that martial arts foundation that came early. She's been doing martial arts her entire life, and she knew that she wanted to be an MMA fighter specifically since she was 12 years old. So, one of the people on this card who has known her entire life, this is who she wants to be. She is looking for the crucifix position. I mean, who isn't? Who isn't? It's absolute domination, right? But that's where she can really get creative from there. She's very, very humble, a humble high kicker. You know, you can see Erin shooting that leg up for the head. She just really has it all. Erin has it all. She can do it all. She's number 4. She has been active. She has been ready. She has proven herself. She is going against Macy, the future Barber. I think her and Ian Machado Guerrero are going to have to fight for that name, or maybe they can both be the future, right? On either end. So Macy comes from LFA, and she made her way to the Dana White's Contender Series and through UFC in 2018. So she's 9-2 right now. This fight has kind of been churning for a while. These ladies could have fought each other a couple years ago even. They was supposed to happen, then it was canceled, but we made our way. It's destiny, and we are here. Macy has never been finished. Okay, so both her and Erin have never been finished. She's currently riding a 6-fight win streak, but we haven't seen her in approximately a year. So, coming off of the Chukagian win back in March of 2024, and she was supposed to fight Rose. It was booked and then canceled in July. So, that would have been icing on the cake, right? If we could have seen both of them perform against Rose and kind of do a direct comparison there. Macy's only losses are to absolute legends Alexa Grasso and Roxanne Modafferi. Shout out Roxanne Modafferi. Miss her. Okay, she is on my inspo wall. Absolutely love her. Let's not get derailed. Okay, Macy is willing to talk trash. She's pretty sassy in there. You know, we'll say that some people have no foundation, have no skill. She's been throwing a little bit of trash talk at Erin. Erin not exactly taking the bait completely. Fun thing about Macy is she can do a Rubik's Cube, okay? That's a fun little talent. And she is very impatient if you are slow moving. We learned that from the James Lynch interview. He often does those quick facts of the fighters and like those YouTube shorts. Those are great. You get a lot of cute stuff in there. And that's your pet peeve is if you're slow. These gals have kind of been circulating in the division simultaneously. They are of the same age. They have both been fighting for a majority of their lives, both had this vision for themselves for a very long time, and it's time. It is time for number 4 and number 5 to battle it out. I think because Macy has been not exactly super active, haven't seen her in over a year, that I don't think there's as much of a case to have her fight for the belt next if she gets the win. But I think that if Erin pulls this off, that it would make a lot of sense. It would make a lot of sense for her to get the next shot at the title, and I know she can perform. We have seen Erin at 5 rounds twice now, all right? She is an absolute dog. We've seen Macy show some incredible durability in there, but we have not seen her at 5 rounds. So this will be a great test of cardio. I do not see either of these ladies giving up in any capacity. I foresee this to be a grind to decision. I think that Erin is going to get it done by doing a little bit more and having that cardio that's going to really mean a lot in those championship, or that's going to mean a lot in those main event rounds. The women's flyweight division is so exciting right now. If the winner of this fight doesn't get a chance at the belt, they'll get a chance at the number 1 spot. There's just so much talent. They are both truly inspiring young women looking to make a case for themselves for the belt. It's going to be great. It's been meaning to happen for a long time. This fight has been trying to get booked, and finally we got it. This will be great. So let me know what fight you're most looking forward to. I think that I am most looking forward to our main event and to Ketlin Vieira versus Macy Chiasson. That is going to be an absolute banger with just as much implications, interestingly enough, in my opinion. Here is our song of the week, song of the night. Depends. Let's do it all week. This is you, once upon a time. So wave goodbye to yourself.